The measurement is not taken on a straight line. Tape is extended downward in a slant manner. That is why I prefer using bicep circumference measurements anytime I'm working with bicep height. And when I'm working with cap height measurement, I use my armhole circumference measurement. Do you know the differences between a basic sleeve and a blazer coat sleeve? What do you know about a cap height and a biceps height? Where and when exactly is elbow length measurement needed? What is the standard measurement used in getting a biceps height? These and more are what I will be sharing with you in this video. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bolaji, and if this is your first time of seeing my video, this is Reggie School of Fashion. On this channel, I upload fashion designing related content regularly for both male and female, using pattern drafting, which is a world standard method in clothing construction. In this video, I will be showing you guys how to draft a blazer coat sleeve pattern, which is going to be a well-detailed tutorial from drafting to cutting up to the construction level. So guys, make sure you watch this video to the end, as I will be here to take you on this ride after this time out. The following measurements are needed in drafting a blazer coat sleeve pattern: the sleeve length, the elbow length, the biceps height, the armhole circumference, the wrist circumference, and the biceps circumference. In this tutorial, I will be making use of the following measurements, which are sleeve length 25 inches, elbow length 13.5 inches, biceps height 6 inches, armhole circumference 18, biceps circumference 14, wrist circumference 10 inches. In drafting a blazer coat sleeve pattern for men, you need a basic sleeve pattern. That is a basic sleeve pattern drafted for a male figure. Also, when you are drafting a basic sleeve pattern, you have to put it in mind that you are grading the basic sleeve to make a blazer coat sleeve pattern. The way you draft a basic sleeve pattern for a blazer coat sleeve pattern is different from drafting a basic sleeve pattern for shirt making. And because of this, I did not draft my basic sleeve pattern off the camera. I don't want you to miss any part of this video. I want you to catch this up from the beginning to the end of this tutorial. So that is why I'll be showing you how to draft a basic sleeve pattern, particularly for a blazer coat sleeve pattern for men. So I have my vertical lines drawn out already. This is the starting point. When drafting a basic sleeve pattern to be graded to make a blazer coat sleeve pattern, you need your bicep height. At this point, I will be explaining the difference between a cap height and a bicep height. When do you need your biceps height and when do you need your cap height? When drafting a basic sleeve pattern for male, you need a cap height or bicep height. This is just a matter of choice. You can decide to use a cap height and you can decide to use a bicep height. The difference is a bicep height sleeve is higher on the shoulder than the cap height sleeve. So which means if you don't want the shoulder of your sleeve to high, you make use of a cap height measurement, which was used in my video on how to draft a basic sleeve pattern. The video has been linked up in the description box already if you are yet to watch the video. And also in creating the sleeve head and every other part, you need to watch this video as well. But if you are drafting your basic sleeve pattern, particularly for suit making, that is a blazer coat sleeve, you have to maintain the bicep height measurement. Biceps height measurement is the measurement taken from the center of the shoulder downward to the fullest part of the arm. If you are finding this measurement difficult to take, I'll be giving you a very simple formula which you can use in achieving the bicep height measurement. It works for all figures, all sizes of men, either male or female. You can use this formula to achieve a bicep height measurement. And the formula is the armhole circumference measurement divided by 3. Whatever you have is a bicep height measurement. For instance, as I'm working with armhole circumference measurement of 18 inches, I will be dividing 18 inches. I will be dividing 18 inches by 3. 18 divided by 3, I have 6 inches. That was why I said my biceps height is 18 inches. That was how I achieved this 6 inches. So whatever measurement you are using as your armhole circumference, if you don't know how to take armhole circumference measurement, or you are not sure of how you have been taking it either correctly or incorrectly, I have a well-detailed tutorial also on how to take measurements for a male shirt. In this video, you learn how to take every part of the body for male figure, starting from the head circumference measurement, the neck circumference, the armhole, the wrist circumference measurement. Wrist circumference measurement is taken in 2 ways. When we get to that point, I will elaborate. The video has been linked up in the description box already. Watch this video after watching this particular one. So as I said earlier, the measurement I took from the starting point to this point is 6 inches. That is my biceps height measurement. Then from the starting point downward, I have the sleeve length measurement. Please, you will notice I did not add the elbow length measurement on this pattern because it is a basic sleeve pattern. I am not yet on blazer coat sleeve pattern. I need a basic sleeve pattern to achieve a blazer coat sleeve pattern. When you are drafting your basic sleeve pattern, you don't need the elbow length measurement. Elbow length measurement is needed when drafting a blazer coat sleeve pattern. Here is my sleeve length measurement. From the starting point to this point is 25 inches. So that is what I have. On the sleeve length measurement, I will be inserting half of the wrist circumference measurement. The wrist circumference measurement I'm working with is 10 inches. Half of 10 inches is 5 inches. So please take note of this. When I was drafting, my pattern is on fold. I folded the pattern in total. So back to this measurement, I used 10 inches, half of it is 5 inches. Actually, the wrist circumference measurement of this wearer is 8.5 inches. So which means if I'm drafting this pattern for shirts, I will not use 10 inches, I will use 8.5 inches. And half of 8.5 inches is 4.25. I have to use 10 inches because the opening of a blazer coat sleeve is without placket. There is no room for opening or extending the opening of the sleeve. So that is why I have to take the measurement in such a way the wearer should be able to put in and off the sleeve easily without any stress. So which means when you are taking this measurement on the wrist, when you are taking the wrist circumference measurement purposely for blazer coat sleeve, you have to take the measurement in such a way your client's hand should be able to come out of the measuring tape easily. When you watch my video on how to take measurement for a male shirt, you will get to understand how to take measurement for blazer coats and how to take measurement for sleeve. When you get to the wrist point, I elaborated and explained into details on how to take the measurements. So the next step is to create the sleeve head. At this point as well, you need to pay a close attention. When you are working with bicep height, I prefer using bicep circumference measurements. There's difference between biceps height and bicep circumference. Measurement taken from the shoulder to the fullest part of the arm is the bicep height, or you use the formula I told you earlier to get the bicep height. So at that point, when you take the measurement around that point, that is the circumference measurement. So when you are drafting a basic sleeve pattern, you can either use your bicep circumference measurement or you use your armhole circumference measurement. So this is what I do. When I'm working with cap height measurement, I use armhole circumference measurement. But when I'm working with bicep height, I use bicep circumference measurement. The measurements are like 5 and 6. They are too close, very close. There's no much difference. I think the difference is just like 0.25. The armhole circumference I'm working with is 18 inches. And the bicep circumference I'm working with is 14 inches. 18 divided by 2. Armhole circumference is divided by 2. And bicep circumference also is divided by 2. 18 divided by 2, I have 9. 14 divided by 2, I have 7. So let's assume I want to work with my armhole circumference measurement. If you want to use your armhole circumference measurement, you can use it as well. You will still get the same results. So you will get the same results. So let's assume I want to work with my armhole circumference measure. I'm supposed to go straight to the point, but I want you guys to understand every bit of this tutorial, because this thing of bicep, the armhole, and every other thing is like a little bit confusing if you don't have the deeper understanding. That is why I'm taking my time to explain this into details. So let's assume I want to work with my armhole circumference measurement. These will be inserted on the bicep height because I have the bicep height on my pattern. Half of my armhole circumference is 9 inches. So when you are using armhole circumference, the measurement is not taken on a straight line. You don't take the measurement like so. So the measurement is taken from the starting point angle. This is the angle of the starting point. That is a folded part of the pattern paper. And you lay the tip of your measuring tape on that point like so. And the measuring tape is extended downward in a slant manner towards the bicep height measurement until your 9 inches touches the bicep height point. Then you mark the point. Can you see what I did? So when you are making use of your armhole circumference measurement, this is how you insert the measurement, not on a straight line. That is the 9 inches point. Now I want to take this measurement from this point, which is the center of the sleeve, to this point, and let me see what I have. What I have is 6.75. Just as I said that the difference is usually 0.25, so which means I'm right. What I have here is 6.75. Now if I want to use my bicep circumference measurement, which is 14, divided by 2 is 7. All I'll be doing is just insert the 7 inches on a straight line. And I will mark the 7 inches point. And because I don't want any difference, I want accurate measurements when I'm drafting my pattern. That is why I prefer using bicep circumference measurements anytime I'm working with bicep height. And when I'm working with cap height measurement, I use my armhole circumference measurement. So that is just the difference. So I will be inserting 7 inches on my bicep height. I want to believe you get this. Please let me know at the comment section if you really understand this part. Okay, so from this point, which is the center of the sleeve, this is the center of the sleeve, the folded part. The bicep circumference measurement is taken on the bicep height line forward, and I have 7 inches. Then I will be connecting the 7 inches point to the wrist circumference measurement point using a straight ruler. Okay, so this is what I have, and this is where I will be stopping for the basic sleeve pattern. Every other steps remain the same, just the way you draft your basic sleeve pattern, in creating the sleeve edge, opening, distinguish between the front and the back. So when you watch my video on how to draft a basic sleeve pattern, you will get to know how to do the remaining part of the basic sleeve. So guys, this is my basic sleeve pattern, which I've completed the drafting, and I also cut it out. So just for a quick recap, this is the starting point, that is the sleeve edge. To this point is this biceps height. Then from this point to this line, that is the wrist line, which is the sleeve length. Also, after achieving my curve and cutting it out, I work on the curve area. I just measure the curve in order to be sure of what I have. So what I needed is half of the armhole circumference measurement I'm working with, plus extra half of an inch. The half of an inch will serve as his. So make sure you have up to half of your armhole circumference measurement plus half of an inch. Or better still, take the front and the back measurement curve together at the same time, which is from this point to this point. So I'll be taking the measurement all round like so. So which means I'll have my armhole circumference measurement plus extra 1 inch. I'm working with armhole circumference 18 inches. So with this I will have 19 inches. So which is good enough because I'm drafting for a blazer coat sleeve pattern, particularly for men. So I need that ease around the sleeve head. So let's go straight to why we are here. That is grading a basic sleeve pattern to make a blazer coat sleeve pattern for men. The first step is to work on my basic sleeve pattern, which I will be folding like so. Don't forget, this is the center of the sleeve. When I was drafting, the pattern was on fold and I opened it up when I was completing the drafting. So I have the front and the back by each other. As you can see, this is the front and this is the back. So I'll be folding the two sides and the edges will fall on the center line, which is called the green line. That is the center of the sleeve. Just make sure your concentration is on the center of the sleeve. If you cannot take the two together, you can take it one after the other. Okay? So make sure the side of the sleeve falls on the center line. So this is one side. Then I'll be picking the other side and make sure the tip align. So that is the tip of the sleeve head. Make sure the two meet perfectly. So when I'm sure my folding is okay, then I'll go ahead and tape the center. I'm taping the two edges together. So this is what I have after taping. Can you see the shape? Can you see what I have? I know you will have come across something like this. So the shape of our blazer coat sleeve has started coming out already. So once I have this, see what I have? I have the sleeve in two parts now. This is one and this is the second one. So after folding, I need a fresh pattern paper on my table, which I have laid already. So the pattern will be on a new pattern paper like so. And the next step is to stabilize my basic pattern on the fresh pattern paper. Okay, so the next step is to trace out the center line. So that is the center line. So the next step is to insert the elbow measurement. This is the point where elbow measurement is needed. So I'll be taking the elbow measurement from the HP head. This is the highest point shoulder, the center of the sleeve. The measurement is taken from the center of the shoulder to the elbow point on human figure. If you don't know how to take this measurement, watch my video on how to take measurements for a male shirt. Every measurement, every part of the body of a male figure was taken in this video. The video has been linked up already in the description box. The elbow length measurement I'm working with is 13.5 inches and this is the point. Okay, so then I will take this and make it a straight line, so that I can easily indicate the point. So after getting the elbow length point, the next step is to move the green line. When I'm saying the green line, I mean the center line. To move this line forward a little towards the center, the front of the sleeve. This is because we need to achieve the shape of human arm. The hand is a little bit bent towards the back. So that shape has to be achieved when drafting a blazer coat sleeve. And because of this, I will come to the wrist measurement, which is the sleeve length, and I will measure 3/4 of an inch forward. Please, it's towards the front, not towards the back. So the measurement is taken towards the front. And also, when you are drafting your basic sleeve pattern, don't add hem allowance after the sleeve length measurement. If you notice, I did not add hem allowance because the pattern is to be graded to make a blazer coat sleeve pattern for men. Okay, so I'll be inserting 3/4 of an inch. You have 3/4 of an inch on your measuring tape. 3/4 of an inch is the same thing as 0.75. The fraction is 3/4 and the decimal is 0.75. That means you need to learn how to read your measuring tape accurately for pattern drafting. If you don't know how to read the small lines you have on your measuring tape, you don't know how to convert fraction values to decimal, decimal to fraction, don't worry, you don't have a problem. I have a well-detailed tutorial on how to read your measuring tape accurately, purposely for pattern drafting, where you get to know everything that has to do with your measuring tape. All the small lines you have on your measuring tape, you will learn how to read them with ease. After dividing your values on calculator, how do you locate the exact value on your measuring tape without rounding it up to the value you are familiar with? The video has been linked up as well in the description box. Watch this video after watching this particular one. So don't add to the measurement taken or round it up to the nearest value anymore. So the next step is to connect this point to the elbow point. So, which means instead of the center of the sleeve to come down like so, no, it's no more following this route. From the sleeve edge downward, when it gets to the elbow length, it's bent towards the front. So this line is no more in use. And here is the elbow length. I will label it as the elbow length. And because of the grading that was done on the wrist line, I have to reinsert the wrist circumference measurement. So I will be taking my straight ruler and redraw the wrist line. Okay. So can you see what I have? I extended the wrist line towards the front of the sleeve. And hope you did not forget I'm working with wrist circumference measurement of 10 inches. And I will be inserting the 10 inches plus extra 1.5 inches. I'm inserting 1.5 inches extra because this pattern is for a male figure. Blazer coat sleeve pattern for male. On the wrist of the suit sleeve, there's always been an opening around here, which we have to have a little bit of overlapping. So the 1.5 inches is what we do the work of that overlap. So that is why I'm adding extra 1.5 inches. So all I will do is 10 inches wrist plus 1.5. I have 11.5 inches. So 11.5 is what I will be dividing by 2, which gives me 5.75. Okay, so which means on this line, from this side to this side, I will have 5.75. And because we've moved the center of the sleeve away from here to this point, the measurement will be taken from this point towards this side and towards this side. That is back and front. 5.75 from the front point to the back point. So which means I need half of 5.75 on this side and half of 5.75 on this side as well, because the pattern is going to be in 2 pieces. That is why it is also called a 2-piece sleeve. You can call it a 2-piece sleeve, a jacket sleeve, a suit sleeve, a coat sleeve, blazer coat sleeve. They all mean the same. Also a tailored sleeve. So half of 5.75 is what I will be inserting on the front side, half of 5.75 on the back side. Okay, so that is what I have, and I will take it forward to this point, and here I have 5.75. so from this point to this point is half of 5.75. From this point to this point is half of 5.75. so if I should take the measurement together, I will have 5.75 in total, like so. Then I will reconnect the side of the sleeve. The connection is from this point to the elbow points, not to the sleeve edge. Okay, so this is what I have. Can you see what I have already? And I will be extending the elbow length to touch the new pattern paper, so that I will be able to indicate my elbow length easily. Okay, so that is the elbow length, and I will also transfer part of the lines on the fresh pattern paper. So the next step is to separate the upper sleeve from the under sleeve. When I was showing the other time, I inserted my hand like so. I told you we have two sleeves, one at the top and one at the back. So please don't make this mistake. In this case, it is a reverse case. The part you have at the upper part is the under sleeve, and the part you have underneath at the back is the upper sleeve. The longer parts from here at the back downward, this is the upper sleeve, and this one you have at the top is the under sleeve. So we have to separate the under sleeve from the upper sleeve. This is the under sleeve, and I will label it as the under sleeve. The under sleeve. Okay, and because this sleeve is purposely for suits, we have to move the seam point, that is the joining part, away from the center of the arm. And because of this, I will be subtracting away from the under sleeve measurement and add it to the upper sleeve measurement. I will be subtracting away from the under sleeve measurement, that is the part I have at the top, and I will add it to the part I have at the lower part, which is the upper sleeve measurement. So this is what I will be doing. It is a very simple thing. This is where the measurement starts now. I will just take half of an inch forward from the wrist line. From this point as well, I will measure half of an inch forward. Just cool down when you are watching this video. This is the easiest method so far. I'm giving you the easiest method so far. Okay. On the elbow length, I will take half of an inch forward as well, which is here. On the back side, half of an inch forward. Okay. See the shape I have from this edge. The shape I have from this edge, as it goes round, that is the shape for the under sleeve. This shape, like so, downward is for the under sleeve. And this shape from this edge upward, can you see the round shape? Downward is for the upper sleeve. So which means I don't have business with this shape. This part, I don't have any business with this part. So what I have business with is from this edge to this edge. So on this edge, I will subtract half of an inch. Which is here. Okay. Then this part as well. I will be taking half of an inch. Then I will be connecting the point together. Don't forget, when we get to the elbow length, the line has bent towards the front, so you don't connect from the upper part to the wrist line. Connection is from the upper part to the elbow point first, then from the elbow point to the wrist line. So now I'm connecting from the elbow point to the wrist point. So on the other side as well, which is the back side of the sleeve, I'm repeating the same process. Okay, so I'm done with the connection, and I'll explain this line. That is the line I just drew out now. That is the under sleeve measurement. So this is what I will be transferring on the fresh pattern paper. So if you are making use of a transfer paper, that is the pattern paper that is transparent, it will be much easier than this. All you need to do is just take your pattern paper, place it on the pattern, and with this you'll be able to see what you have underneath. Just trace it out. After tracing, before you trim the side, add your same allowances on both sides and on the sleeve head. Then your under sleeve is ready. But in this case, I'll be showing you how you can still achieve the same thing with your normal pattern paper that is not transparent. So in separating the upper sleeve from the under sleeve, I'll be tracing out the center line, which is a gray line, with my tracing wheel. So this is to transfer this line on the fresh pattern paper. So after tracing the center line, I will trace out the side lines as well. Now I'm done transferring my under sleeve on the fresh pattern paper. Then I will be transferring my upper sleeve as well. So this line is for my upper sleeve, don't forget. So this line is for the upper sleeve. I took in half of an inch in order to subtract from the measurement of the under sleeve. So this particular line is for the under sleeve, while this is for the upper sleeve. So this line and this line both are for the upper sleeve. So I have this connected to the elbow point already, so I'll just transfer this part and shape it all around. So I have to use tracing wheel around here because the line falls on the basic sleeve pattern. So that is why I'm transferring with my tracing wheel. Okay, so I can remove my basic sleeve pattern and trace out the shape I have. So please don't forget the center line. Transfer the center line as well. And before removing your pattern, indicate the front and the back. So I know this is the back and this side is the front. Okay, so with this I can remove my basic pattern. So can you see what I have? And I will trace out all the lines with my pencil. Now I've drawn out the lines for you guys to see it clearly. So this is the shape I have after tracing out my pattern, and this shape I have here is for the upper sleeve. I don't have the curve for the under sleeve, that is the sleeve head for the under sleeve. So in order to get this curve transferred on the new pattern paper, I will be cutting out the under sleeve lines I have on this pattern. Okay. So this is what I have after cutting it out. So this is no longer needed. Okay, what I need on this pattern is the shape of the sleeve head and also the wrist line. So I have all the sides traced out already. So I will just place it in such a way the center lines are lined, the elbow lines are lined. So now I'm tracing out the under sleeve head. So I need the wrist line as well. You can see the lines are not equal. The length of the under sleeve and the upper sleeve are not equal. So I have to achieve this line. I'm going to reconnect in such a way it's going to be on a straight line. You can see we have a broken point here, so I will not trace it with the broken point. So now I'm tracing out the wrist line for the under sleeve. And don't forget, the under sleeve starts from this point, not from this edge. It's from this point to this edge. So I'll position my ruler in such a way I'm connecting the two edges together. So I have my under sleeve drawn out already. So with this, I have my under sleeve and my upper sleeve on this fresh pattern paper all together. I will duplicate the paper and cut the two separately. As you can see, I have my pattern already traced out. I have the upper sleeve and the under sleeve together on this pattern. This is the upper sleeve and this is the under sleeve. The longer one is the upper sleeve. So also I have another piece of pattern paper underneath this because I have to cut the two separately. So that is why I have to make my pattern paper. Then I will secure the two together with my stapler because I don't want them to get shifted. So guys, this is what I have after transferring my pattern, and I have my pattern in double as I said earlier, and I've transferred the upper sleeve on the pattern paper underneath. So this is my upper sleeve lines, like so, as it goes down like so. Okay, so I will be using the upper pattern paper. So this upper one is what I will be using in making the under sleeve. So this is for the under sleeve and this will be for the upper sleeve. So before removing my under sleeve, I will be adding my seam allowance all around. So this is for the under sleeve. All these lines I'm touching are for the under sleeve, like so. Then I need half of an inch all around the pattern as seam allowance. From this side to this side is half of an inch, so I'll be maintaining this line, this outer line, as my seam allowance. So all I will be doing is add seam allowance on the wrist line and add seam allowance on the sleeve head, which is this curve. After which I will blend it up with my curve roller. Okay, so this is what I have after adding my seam allowance. Then I will come to the waistline and add half of an inch as seam allowance. And I will just extend it downward in a slant manner, like so. You can see it is not on a straight line. Okay, so I just extended the line to meet the seam allowance. So guys, this is the under sleeve pattern for blazer coat sleeve for men. As you can see, we have our under sleeve plotted already with the seam allowance and every other thing. So I will be removing this now, cut out the under sleeve for you guys to see how it looks like, so that we have the idea of how the upper sleeve will look like as well. After which I will go into adding allowance to the upper sleeve. So now I've separated the two patterns. As you can see, this is for the under sleeve and this is for the upper sleeve. I've traced out the upper sleeve as well, and I label it as the upper sleeve. This is the elbow length, this side is the back, and this is the front. I will be leaving this aside, then cut out the under sleeve first. So don't forget, this is our seam allowance, so I'll be cutting on the outer line.
I think 32 minutes.
32 minutes. Maybe. Oh, 14 minutes. So guys, this is what I have after cutting out the under sleeve. You can see how the under sleeve looks like. So can you see? So this is what the under sleeve looks like. So now it's time to work on the upper sleeve. The first thing to do is to add half of an inch to the upper sleeve measurement. This is because, if you remember, I subtracted half of an inch away from the under sleeve, so the half of an inch I subtracted will be added back to the upper sleeve. This is different from seam allowance, so I will be adding half of an inch, which I subtracted from the under sleeve, back to the upper sleeve, and I will add extra half of an inch as seam allowance. So that is total of 1 inch. So in order to save the time, I will be adding the 1 inch at once. So that is half of an inch from the under sleeve and half of an inch as seam allowance. That is 1 inch in total. After adding the seam allowance, this is what I have. You can see the shape already. The upper sleeve is usually bigger than the under sleeve, so I'll be cutting it out. So guys, the pattern is ready. This is a blazer coat sleeve pattern for men. This is the upper sleeve and this is the under sleeve. Can you see? The under sleeve is smaller than the upper sleeve. So I will quickly cut this out on my fabric, join it together so that you guys can see the final results of a blazer coat sleeve. So guys, this is what I have after cutting out the pattern. This is a under sleeve and this is a upper sleeve. So when you are cutting yours, don't forget this has to be in 2 pieces. You are cutting 2 of this and 2 of this, and also a suit sleeve must be with lining, so you must cut out your lining the same way you cut out your fabric. So the next step you don't need to skip, that you must not skip, is to place notches. This is very important. You can see there's not much difference between the front and the back sleeve, so you have to indicate the front and the back. So that is why you have to place your notches. Your notches can be placed anywhere. There's no rule that guides where you place your notches. So from the wrist, I'm just taking 5 inches upward for the front part. So I'll be placing 1 notch on the front side of the sleeve and 2 notches on the back side. So on the back side, I'm placing the first notch on 5 inches point. Then I will take that point up by ½ of an inch. So 2 inches, 2 notches for the back sleeve and 1 notch for the front sleeve. So this has to be applied on both under sleeve and the upper sleeve. So I'm placing the notches. Notching means cutting a little, so I'm just cutting it a little. Then I'll cut on the wrist line just to know where the allowance starts. Also on the elbow length, you have to place your notches on both sides. So my notches here on the back side. So once I see this part, I will know this is the back side of the sleeve. The back side of the sleeve has 2 notches. Okay. Then on the sleeve head, I'm placing my notches. Okay, so that is what I have. So now I'll be putting this together so that you guys can see the final look of a blazer coat sleeve for men. So guys, after putting the pieces together, this is what I have. You can see it's looking beautiful and neat. So anytime you are making a blazer coat for a man or for female, make sure you apply a blazer coat sleeve as well. It is wrong to apply a basic sleeve on a blazer jacket. Make sure you apply a blazer coat sleeve. So this is what I have. You can see how it looks. It is beautiful. So this is the joining part. This is the under sleeve. You can see it falls under the arm, so that is why we call it under sleeve. And the bigger part falls at the upper parts of the arm, so that is why it is called upper sleeve. We've come to the end of this tutorial. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you find this helpful in any way. Also subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Till I come your way next time, always do remember, there is no elevator to success. You have to take the stairs.